Now let's talk awards, from the good and the bad. It's now 2018, so all the different films that have come out in 2017 are getting the look over and are being looked at for awards from different walks of life. So now we already have two key groups that give awards related to movies, uh, putting out already their nominations and stuff like that. And we have, first from the positive side, for Transformers The Last Night, for outstanding achievement in sound editing and music score, Transformers The Last Night. And this is interesting because we just a few days ago, you made the mention of why we got the free soundtrack and why it was being offered for free. And I was mentioning how, like, you know what, when you actually get a chance to listen to it, it's pretty good.
Hmm.
You know, again, I've said this, I'll be repeating myself again right here, but Steve Jablowski, is a very good composer. And when you do, when you are able to listen to his music and it's not drowned out by the reverberation of some of Michael's creations, there's some really good, music to listen to there. And I was able to rediscover all of that music that unfortunately I didn't even hear watching The Last Night twice. I saw it twice up to this point, and I didn't remember any music. But now it's like, oh, the Merlin theme. Okay, that's pretty good actually. It's kind of epic and strong, and he's very good at that, Steve Jablowski. And it's good to see that the sound editing and the music score here is getting recognized. It's going to be competing against other films like Blade Runner,
Very good movie.
the
Really good
the
stuff.
Wonder Woman movie, which again, a movie that I really enjoyed, but I don't really remember the soundtrack. Which
I remember the theme more.
Oh, right, okay, I take it back. Yeah, you're right. That theme I remember.
The theme
You
I
know,
do remember.
there's certain movies that I remember seeing, and from the moment I saw them, leaving the theater, the soundtrack was just stuck in my head. Good examples of movies like number one, obviously any Star Wars movie that I've ever seen, right up to even Episode One.
Hmm.
Duel of the Fates always stuck with everyone's mind, even after
Yep.
seeing it the first time. The Matrix is another good.
Because one thing with Duel of the Fates, it got a nice airy breath time, and
Yeah,
and it
it
and it
got
had a
focus
specific scene that it was set
that it
with.
was tied to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's John Williams' genius. He
Hmm.
really knows how to do that kind of stuff. Again, The Matrix was another good example of music that after we left the theater, like that was some damn good music in that movie. The second Tron movie,
I
I
thought you were gonna
found.
say Batman,
Oh well,
1980, 1989.
I
So
actually
so
didn't.
good that they used it for a TV series.
I didn't see the first '89 Batman movie in theaters.
Mm.
I saw the second one. I
Ah,
think I was still too young to go see that in theaters at the time, but I remember seeing it on VHS afterwards. I think
same here, same here.
I think I was 9 when it came out, and it just was there wasn't the drive for my parents to take me out to see it. I guess because it still was a little
Yeah,
rate.
you need to see this dark
Yeah, it
Batman
was
movie.
dark as hell. And it's got the guy from The Shining in it. So it's like, ooh, I don't know.
He did other stuff
No, but
besides The
I don't know.
Shining.
It's just, I guess maybe from my parents' perspective, I don't know. And the guy who is Beetlejuice. Anyway, but the point is that there was a lot of good movies where you leave the theater and the music just resonates with you, that you just
Yeah.
and I remember the first Michael Bay movie. Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself from our episode just a few days ago, but it's just I remember Arrival of the Autobots really stuck with me, and there were certain things, but then all the other movies, it was just blah 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 blah. It just boom boom explosion explosion, can't hear anything. So I'm glad that these reviewers for for the motion picture sound editors golden reel nominations, the 65th annual motion picture sound editor golden reel award, um, recognize this, that they actually were able to hear through what even I couldn't hear. you know so it's cool that they're getting that now. As much as we're praising them for music, the flip side of it, unfortunately, that's it for the
Well,
good.
I would, because I don't know if it's specific. I guess it's everything because it's editors. Hmm. But yeah,
Well,
no, you're
they
right.
list off a bunch of people,
Hmm.
but it's specifically for that.
For
Now,
editing the music.
now for the other side of it, and we knew this was coming. If there's one thing the Michael Bay Transformer movies are known for from an award standpoint, it's the Razzies. And the Razzies every single year have always thrown shade at the Michael Bay films. Um,
Rightfully so.
and I mean, and yeah, I'm not going to defend the movie. That's for sure. So right away, for the 38th 2018 Razzies, they are nominated for a bunch of categories, and we'll just go through them. First of all, worst picture of the year, poisonous performance by an actor, Mark Wahlberg. Worst supporting actor, Josh Duhamel and Sir Anthony Hopkins, which I don't know. I liked Anthony Hopkins in it, but I guess they were expecting more.
I
You
don't.
know,
He got to have fun in this movie. You don't
I
really
I
get
thought
to
I think it's unfair to pick on him when he was probably just there to finally not have to do Shakespeare.
not
You
to
know?
not to be like so deep and
Yeah,
serious. He's like,
exactly.
yeah, I can joke around on this one, and to see him walk across a field shooting a cane gun at Megatron.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you're
I
allowed.
love that I get to live in a world where I get to say that.
Yeah,
I
so
get
it's
to say that in a world where I say that Sir Anthony Hopkins walks across a field with a cane gun shooting at Megatron. Ah,
worst
what a
supporting
time it
act
is to be alive.
worst supporting actress Laura Haddock, which is who was
Merlin's descendant.
yeah.
Spoiler.
Worst sequel. I don't know if it was the worst sequel, but it's definitely probably worst sequel just that year. Worst director, Michael Bay. Worst screen combo, I guess, and it says here any combination of two humans, two robots, or two explosions. Oh, good lord. And then worst screenplay. So it literally is covering the gamut here. Like I don't even know and ironically, the only thing that didn't get worst music. So I guess again, Steve's hard work.
hmm
Uh, and
Is
so
recognized by the Razzies for not getting nominated.
now,
That's how you have to look at it.
what a lot of these categories that they were nominated with are shared with the following movies also. So the Emoji Movie is fighting them for some of those awards. The Mummy, the recent one that they did, 50
hmm
Shades Darker, and the Baywatch movie
The Rock.
with the Rock. So there's going to be some. So the Transformers might not win some of these categories because some of these other movies are also nominated for these categories. So if you feel that The Rock is a worse actor than Mark Wahlberg, I don't know. I can't imagine The Rock doing anything terribly. You know, the man did wrestling for years
Um,
on a
I
live stage.
I was gonna say, even though he had that good background of getting better at wrestling and building his character and everything, when he started out doing movies, he was still having a tough time, kind of getting his rhythm and getting his old charm to really seep through. And I think once I guess like after maybe I would say GI Joe 2, the second GI Joe 2, like GI Joe movie and Fast and the Furious movies, he started getting his flow and his groove, and he started really naming it. And also in the new Jumanji movie, he plays a gangst type, so that's also something to check out. And like I
Mm.
think he's been really tapping into that comedy, and like just like how John Cena is like a big buff dude actually doing comedy, and just like how Terry Crews was one of the first big buff dudes to do comedy, straight comedy. I think it helps that as well. Like this big hulking guy is actually really funny and very physical with comedy. I think that also helps a lot.
And there's been people who have tried in the past that have been not like Arnold Schwarzenegger is one good example, and or Vin Diesel. Um,
Yeah.
so it's again kudos to him. But so those are the ones that the Razzies have. It would not surprise me if the Transformers kick some serious butt in the Razzies here. I'm just gonna just check quickly uh, which which Razzies they've won in the past actually, because I'm really curious about that one. Because
And they should take them. An award is an award.
well,
Award winning picture Transformers last night. Which
um,
awards? We're not telling you.
oh jeez.
You don't
Um,
need to know about that.
but let's see. So we'll go to worst picture. We'll see if Transformers. So yeah, it seems in 2009, Worst Picture was awarded to Revenge of the Fallen. Why am I
Yeah.
not so? And they were nominated in 2009 and they won it, beating out All About Steve, GI Joe, Rise of Cobra, Land of the Lost, and Old Dogs. I don't even remember that one. Old Dogs.
I
Uh,
think Old Dogs was probably a bunch of I guess like older comedians, and they were all like, or is that Old Hogs? I wonder.
well, see, what's interesting is every single Transformer movie was nominated for the Razzies except the first one, which no surprise because the first one was not a terrible movie. In
Old
2000,
Dogs is I think it's a movie where it's Robin Williams and John Travolta.
okay. So then in 2011, same thing. Transformers: Dark of the Moon was nominated for a Razzie for worst film, but Jack and Jill beat them. In
Oh
2000,
God, Jack and Jill. You know
yeah,
what that one is, right?
yeah.
Whew.
In 2014, Age of Extinction was nominated, but was beaten by Saving Christmas, which I'm not familiar with that one.
I
They,
think that's a Kurt Cameron movie.
and so that one was also shared with Ninja Turtles, The Legend of Hercules, Left Behind. So it seems that them losing, I mean them getting Razzies for Worst Picture was quite the thing, and it's the same thing when we go to Worst Director. Michael Bay won Worst Director in 2009 for Revenge of the Fallen, but lost out in all those other. Although Michael Bay got Worst Director in 2014 for Age of Extinction,
Mm.
so it seems Transformers is more of a Razzie Award franchise than it is a anything else franchise, which is unfortunate. But let's hope we could turn it around, folks, and maybe this Michael Bay movie is gonna be the next E.T., the next coming of age alien meets kid. I'll always
I
be here,
if
Elliot.
if I remember right, I think Transformers One probably was nominated for an Oscar for sound design when Lord of the Rings: Return of the King just swept.
Transformers also got for animation,
Hmm.
but they were nominated and lost to the Polar Express, which I will fight that because when I learned of that, I went
That
and
doesn't hold
watched.
up.
It's it's
It
it's
doesn't hold
they
up.
were bragging about how beautiful the polar bears looked, right? And they were saying like,
Hmm.
and then I went and saw the movie because I was like, who beat Transformers? Like how good was the CG? Because the 2007 movie had all these moving pieces and parts and
Yeah.
all this work put into it. And so I go and I look at these polar bears and I'm like, man, remember the old Coca-Cola commercials from
Hmm.
the 80s with the polar bears? Look, it
Hmm.
looks exactly like it was just on par with that. Like I was like, really? And that's when I knew, you know what? Maybe the Academy's all rigged anyways. It's just a bunch of old
They're
guys
like,
that
we don't want to give it to
I don't want to give
robots.
it to these
We don't want to give it to
robots.
sci-fi. We want to give it to whimsy. I mean, if it was for animation, then like I think it's Robert Zemeckis did that movie, so I would see like, okay, fine, he won for Roger Rabbit. That makes sense. But
Yes.
whenever he does stuff that's like, I'm gonna use animated and live action people together, and it's just that weird, scary middle ground,
Roger
the
Rabbit
uncanny
was
that.
revolutionary for its time. Polar Express did something on kin of again like a commercial from Coca-Cola or something that Beast Wars did with a
On
tiger,
par.
with a Siberian tiger instead.
Mm.
It wasn't this amazing CG where again I as much as I hate to defend a Michael Bay movie, I'll defend it when it's just. And I mean the Michael Bay movies had these extremely intricate robots doing all this crazy stuff and transforming one thing to another and all the cogs, and just watch the arrival of the Autobots as a movie in itself, and you can't tell me that all this amazing CG does not deserve the award over a bunch of polar bears in the snow that really didn't even look that lifelike. Like again, it was very dated CG, and like you just said, doesn't age well. Where I mean, I could still look at the 2007 movie, and the CG more or less is it's more or less on the same level as what it is now. I think it kind of peaked in a lot of ways. There's only so much you could do, so it's either way. I just wanted to just bring up all these awards, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out, see what Transformers wins and or lose. They're nominated for a lot of stuff this year from the
Mm.
Razzie side of things. I hope Steve wins the music. I think he's a great musical composer. So, even though like it was completely not noticeable in the movie, it still is pretty good stuff, and he deserves credit where credit is due.
Yep. Good luck to you, man.